Hey, that equipment's not green. But wait, yes it is. It's got a 13.6 liter engine in it. But water pump right here decided it was going to start leaking coolant out the weep hole. So I'm going to be putting a water pump on this 13.6 liter engine that's in this BRON 80,000 pound tile plow. I mean, look at the steel on this. And I apologize for the wind out here. It's a little bit brutal out here today. Yeah, what a beast. So we're going to try to get this thing up and running quickly here this morning because we got a front coming in. You can see the old turbines out there just zinging. And I'm going to get this 1/2-inch drive ratchet on this belt tensioner in here. Just get the belt off this pump here real carefully. You gonna stay there? Perfect. All right, what I'm gonna try to do, this thing's already leaked out a bunch of coolant anyway. I'm gonna put a tub under here and I'm just gonna hot swap this water pump as quick as I can. And there's only 3 bolts holding it in. 1, 2, 3 down here. Well, I apologize for this wind. It's absolutely horrendous. Way too much extension. There we go. Really? Well, there it goes. Just had to think about it a little bit this morning. Alrighty. So I got a new water pump here on standby. I don't know if this is the best way to do it, but I don't really feel like taking off all those heavy belly pans underneath to drain it down all the way. I didn't even test the feelie. It feels fine. Why are you leaking out the weep hole? Why? They give you one place to pry, and that's it. Mercy. There's no room in here. Let's try to get a smaller one in there, I guess. There you go. This sucker's in there. Oh, now we're getting somewhere. I just don't want this thing to go flying on me. Pete's sake. There we go. Whew. Here we go. There. Whew. Oh boy. That was fun. Oh, we got it both started. Can't tell what I'm doing. There we go. There it is. Okay, we're gonna go 221 inch-pounds, which is about 18.4 foot-pounds, and then we're gonna go 45 degrees. Gotta love that torque spec. You just breathe on it. Okay. I hate this bottom one. You can't see it. Man, I'm ready to get out of this wind. Okay. Now we gotta do the angle dangle. 45 degrees. Now we're getting some torque. Dang. Okay. Yeah, that gets them tight. Whew. This is where a tech angle is worth its weight in gold. Torqued. All right. Cool. Fun. Awesome. Come on. No, not on the top. How about now? Are you in? Negative. How about now? You happy now? You look okay. Oh, I came off the alternator. Dang it. I don't know how I'm gonna pull this off. Oh, maybe it's a miracle. I think I did it. It looks all right. There, now you guys can see that belt set up a little better. All right, guess we'll start to pour coolant in this beast. It's gonna be fun. Drink up, little buddy. I don't know how full to give it. They don't have a sight glass or nothing on this thing. It's just a black tank. One. I don't know how I'm going to keep these from blowing away. Okay. There's two. I'll get it filled up eventually. So got it filled up with coolant, and I don't know why this water pump just decided to start leaking. You can see where it's leaking out the weep hole there, but it's not loose. It spins okay. So I don't know why she just decided to start leaking out there, but this is the first water pump I've seen fail on a 13.6. Alright, and that thing is up and running. They're gonna go put some tile in the ground. They better hurry. I've seen some lightning on the horizon. Not really sure what's gonna happen with that, but little backstory on that thing. The customer called me and said that the engine set a code for the coolant pressure extremely low. So, you know, I had him check the obvious things like make sure the radiator cap was tight, make sure that the coolant pressure sensor was plugged in. There's a coolant pressure sensor on the back side of that water pump housing, and that was all good. And then he took that shield off the side, and then he noticed that he had a coolant leak around the water pump. So I drove up there and confirmed, yep, it's leaking out of the weep hole of the water pump. So I ordered a pump, and today I got that in and went out there and replaced it. It wasn't too bad. I definitely like those cartridge style water pumps. They're pretty easy to replace. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the Cummins QSX 15 liter, how it just bolts in there and it's belt driven. So we'll see. That thing had 538 hours on it, and then the water pump decided to leak out the weep hole. So that thing's fixed, and now I'm going to head to tractor I worked on yesterday. We got an 8400R that's got a priority valve load sense issue. SCVs aren't working unless you stall the steering or the brakes. So since I got that water pump done, now I'm going to go over to that guy's place, and I've got the 8400 all apart with the priority valve sitting on the bench, and I'll show you guys what I found. Okay, I got an 8400R here. Kind of got it exploded into pieces at the moment. But what this thing was doing was the SCVs did not have full pressure because they weren't getting a strong enough load sense signal back to the priority valve to make the pump go into stroke. The pump would go into stroke whenever you would load the system down with the steering or the brakes. Then it would give the proper amount of pressure out to the SCVs because you're giving it another load sense signal that's actually getting to the pump. This thing did have a priority valve previously installed on it, only about 30 engine hours ago. So I figured something probably had to be wrong with that new priority valve. And I have shown you guys how this priority valve comes off, so I'll put a link up in the video where you guys can go to that and get a little bit more detailed view of how I remove this thing. But the first thing that comes off is your proportional valve, and it mates onto your priority valve / auto track valve here, and there's supposed to be two little check balls right here for your load sense shuttle check valve, where your SCV load sense signal comes in. And whenever I pulled this, well, when I pulled the proportion valve off, I heard a ball drop out, this little ball right here, and fell into my drain bucket I had underneath there. And I said, that ain't supposed to do that. Well, when I got that off, they're both missing. So that kind of explains what's going on. And I don't know where the other one went. And there's supposed to be a retainer. And whenever you have that proportional valve on there, that ball and retainer physically can't go back through this hole, and it can't go down this passage. I checked it. It will not go. So it either had to not be on there when it got installed, or it had to fall out during installation, which is probable because here's the new valve. When you look at this retainer, it's like this little tiny hog ring that just barely sits in there. So it's, I imagine if you bump that just right, that would probably fall out and one of the balls could have fell out. But when I look at this proportion valve, you can see two little dimples where that ball had been kind of hitting this piece. So I got a new priority valve under a parts warranty here. So we've already got the fittings exchanged over from this to this. And we're going to put this back on, and I'm also going to install an external check just for redundancy. That's an update that you can get from Deere to mount on this fitting here, just in case the internal shuttle valve does fail. That external check will keep it from not working. So it's a lot easier to replace that external check than to take one of these apart and put a new priority valve on it. So we're going to put this new valve on right here. And I think it's time for a time lapse and some music. Okay, sorry I misspoke earlier. I was thinking that check valve and well, the new style check valve went here, but it actually goes right here. So you take this big fitting out. There it goes. So you take that out and you put this in. So you just got a T fitting and then a cap. And then here's the external check valve here. So usually you'll have a symptom of the tractor steers hard and you don't gain steering back unless you stall an SCV. That would indicate a internal failure within the priority valve. And then you can install this external check and fix that problem without actually having to replace the whole entire valve. But we're going to go ahead and add that to this just for redundancy sakes, because it won't hurt it at all to have this in here. And if that ever fails, the customer will never even know it. There, just like that. It's this line right here. Alright, so we got the valve all put back together, and I've filled it up with oil and we ran it. Don't have any leaks there. So now I'm going to go back to testing again. I got my digital pressure meter here. We're going to go into the P port here, and then I'm going to deadhead each SCV and see what our stall pressure is, because before when I would stall an SCV, I wouldn't hit the main pump stall. I'd only go, I think, 1200 on the bottom, and it would go to like 2500 at the top. So if this issue was the whole problem, then we should have 3000 psi on all 4 SCVs when I deadhead them. Okay, so here's our standby pressure right now, about 560 psi. Now if I fix the problem when I activate SCV1 here, it should go to 3000 psi, which before was only going to 1200. So let's see what happens. Right on. Number 2, 3, 4. Sweet. Now I've got a jumper hose in there. So I installed out number 3, deadheaded it, and ran a jumper hose into 1. I got the flow about 7. And before, I think I'd only run about 1200. So we can definitely handle a load a lot better now. Alright, now everything's cherry. Just got to get these tires rolled on there and bolted up, but you guys seen me do that a million times. Ta-da! Tires are on, torqued. Alright, so the 8400 is done. It's happy, the customer's happy, I'm happy, everybody's happy. So I'm back in the service truck, driving back to the shop now. I'm going to work on some work orders, got to get a bunch of those done, and let's see what the boys are up to. Who knows what they've got themselves into.